Welcome back to Winning the Division, episode number 40. I am your co-host, Ryan Smith, alongside former NFL tight end Ben Troupe, my partner in crime here on this podcast. As we remind you every week when we do this podcast, we are part of the Keep Pounding Podcast Network. And for the latest on the Carolina Panthers and the NFL news, subscribe to the Keep Pounding Podcast Network, powered by the Fans First Sports Network. Keep Pounding brings you the latest news, analysis, and interviews from top players, announcers, studio leads, and more. Rate, review, and subscribe to your favorite podcast platform, or subscribe to our video channel as well, where you can view this version of the podcast, youtube.com/Tobacco Radio. Well, Ben, schedule release is coming out on Thursday evening. But we'll get to that a little later in the show. Let's start with first things first. That is the headlines and transactions that dominate the league, because even in the month of May, the NFL never slows down and there's never a dull moment here in the National Football League. Let's start with Derek Carr. He retired, part of our brethren of the Falcons and Panthers in the NFC South, those New Orleans Saints. They've got a guy named Jake Haener, went to Fresno State. They've got Spencer Rattler, a second-year player. For Jake Haener, I believe, is also a third-year player.
I think Spencer Rattler third year. I think Spencer Rattler third.
Oh, he's third year. Okay. And then rookie Tyler Shuck from Louisville. That is the current quarterback room of the New Orleans Saints, with the news of Derek Carr retiring. So I ask you your thoughts initially on Derek Carr retiring, and do you believe the rumors that this was just simply him getting out of New Orleans and this is maybe not fully retired for Derek Carr and he's just trying to go leverage his plays somewhere else, or do you think he's truly done?
You were right first. Spencer Rattler is in his second year. He was drafted last year in 2024. No, I would say this about Derek Carr. Smitty, when Derek Carr first came to the New Orleans Saints, I thought the same thing you thought. You like, why? Because I'm a preface this. Derek Carr was a good quarterback, right? Derek Carr was able to have a better career than his brother David, even though his brother David was, the first overall pick of the Houston Texans, the expansion team. We knew, we kept talking about this, Smitty. We said that Derek Carr was not going to be much of a factor in 2025. Like, he going to start on the pup list. It was going to be, listen, it was going to be either him trying to fight for, starting snaps, or Rattler or whomever.
Yeah.
But I will say this about Derek Carr. Derek Carr's entire career would be a big question mark. You know why? Derek Carr, they gave him weapons when he was with the Raiders. They surrounded him with talent when he was with the New Orleans Saints. No, he did not have Sean Payton. Nope. I get that. Dennis Erickson or whoever was. But it was a lot left out there for me. And mind you, I am not a Saints fan by no stretch. But am I wrong, Smitty, in saying Derek Carr was all right? Like he
was better with the Raiders than he was with the Saints. And let's think about this. His rookie year, he broke his leg on Christmas Eve. He was having a really good rookie season in Las Vegas. I believe Oakland. Jack Del Rio, I believe, was the head coach at the time. That's how far back we're going here.
Wow.
And before John Gruden made his way to Vegas, I keep saying Vegas, Oakland, then Vegas, because they made the transition there. And somewhere along the line, you had Dennis Allen as well before he came to New Orleans. And that's how Derek Carr and him got reunited in New Orleans, because of his familiarity in Oakland. So, yeah, I'm not shocked at this news. To answer my own question, I don't think he will be unretiring to go somewhere else. I think he is done. I think it's simply his body's beat up, and he doesn't want to have another shoulder or any other surgery on his any part of the body. And I think he's done. And I think he saw his brother David back in the day took the hits that he did, and kind of wants to live his life post football and kind of do his thing. And so I think you said it perfectly. He was a good player, made 2 Pro Bowls, and went to the playoffs a few times. But outside of that, I mean, he was a good, not great player. I think that.
Look, I'm just looking at his numbers here: 257 career touchdowns, 112, picks, 41,245, passing yards, 92.8 passer rating. And here's the thing. I'm gonna keep saying about Derek Carr. Derek Carr
Four Pro Bowls. I'm sorry, four Pro Bowls.
This is what Derek Carr is going to be remembered for. Derek Carr is going to be remembered for with Michael Thomas, former, NFL Offensive Player of the Year, first team All-Pro that 1 year, was talking bad about it. He was like, "Look, dude, this dude out here, like have we seen star receivers talk bad about their quarterbacks? Yes, but that's usually a rarity. You don't usually do it. Yes, it's happened with T.O. and different guys.
Let's be honest, though, Michael Thomas played most of his career with Drew Brees, not Derek.
Well, but that's the thing, though, right? It's like Michael Thomas when he had Drew Brees. I mean, he was really, really good. So listen, and so was Marcus Colston, by the way, who I think is an all-time leading receiver in Saints history. But I think when we think about Derek Carr, right? When Derek Carr originally went to the Saints, right? I was like, okay, he's not a bad quarterback. But I'm gonna say this, Smitty. You looking for two things in your division. One, who your team got and who your opponents got. When they got the Derek Carr, people was like, didn't scare nobody. Didn't scare one team in the division. But the thing about Derek Carr, he will show flashes of brilliance sometimes. But then you go, that's because listen, he had Devontae Adams. He had Jacobs, you know what I'm saying, at running back. Dude, hold on. Whoa. I got to get this right. What's the tight end name that he had out there with the Raiders?
Darren Waller.
Oh, my. Hold on for a second. Oh. You had Darren Waller. You had Devontae Adams. You had Jacobs. What are we talking? You had a Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl. I think Jacobs led the league in rushing yards and touchdowns with the Raiders.
He did. And it was John Gruden, I believe, who discovered Darren Waller. I believe he was on the Jets.
He was on the Ravens.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, and John Gruden's like, I like this guy. Let's bring him out here. Let's go.
And listen, one of the greatest compliments I've ever gotten in my life, when I was on ESPN Radio, and I used to do a segment called Troupe Talk. I would sit down, feature guests every week, and one time it was Darren Waller, and I think this was when he was with the Raiders. He's from Atlanta. He went to Georgia Tech, and I he was in the off season. And we came, he said, yeah, Ben. He said, growing up, man, I used to watch you at Florida. I'm like, boy, you're making me feel old, but D-Wall, I appreciate that. It's you know what it is, though, Smitty? People are going to look at Derek Carr and say, dude, you had an abundance of riches. You had running game. You had a number one receiver. You had a beat, because Darren Waller about 6'6", big time tight end.
He was a big man.
He was a bad boy, but it's like, then you go to New Orleans, you got Alvin Kamara. I mean, you had some players, right? It's not like the New Orleans offense was like chopped liver. They was a good team, but I'm just gonna say this about Derek Carr. I don't know how much they said when Derek Carr. Some reports that when he was in New Orleans, he didn't really like make himself like the way Drew Brees was beloved by New Orleans. Like hey man, we gonna take Drew Brees on. They said Derek Carr wasn't really like that. He didn't really go to the mom and pop shops. He wasn't at the French Quarter. He wasn't on Canal Street. He wasn't doing the things that you would think the New Orleans Saints faithful would want him to do. He was more of a, hey man, I'm gonna go to these, obviously I live in the burbs, and I'm gonna go to these fancy restaurants. It's like he never ever really. No one can. Let me say this: no one can fill the shoes of Drew Brees. It's not possible. I'm just gonna say that. But it was never even a thought. So look, congratulate. Look, I guess and it's never ever when you were forced into retirement because of injury. It's always harder on you because you had to walk away and it wasn't on your own terms. But Derek Carr was a really, really good player, made a lot of money, 4 Pro Bowls. Like, he had a good career. He did. He didn't have a bad career. But, or however, Smitty, we judge you on what you didn't do. And that's kind of how sports is. We look at what you had and what you did with it. What you had, and that's from coach, scheme, offensive coordinator, quarterback's coach, and weapons. When you was with the Raiders, you had everything. You literally had everything. And I'm not even talking about the defense. And it just never transpired. Do you go over to the Saints? And it's like, yeah. Like, so, hey. And you know what was crazy? You know what's crazy about that though? The whole situation with Derek Carr. And I'm gonna say this: New Orleans was not blindsided by this. If from the advice of his trainers and doctors, he chose to walk away, they knew how severe his shoulder was. They knew how bad it was. But my thing is, do it before the draft. Like, only because Smitty, I guarantee you now, the GM for New Orleans, he gonna say the right thing, but behind the scenes, because what happens is, Smitty, when somebody go, hey man, it's a medical retirement. Really, do like there's nothing, dude. Like no specialist, no rehab, no time off, nothing. He's gonna retire. All right, well, I mean, I appreciate you, I guess. He was only there for 2 years. He wasn't, 22, 23, 23 years. I'm sorry. He wasn't there that long. But congrats into retirement. But like a lot of times, and let me say this too. When it comes to NFL players or all professional sports, most of us, even people like myself, I mean, most players are just going to be role players. Like, you're not going to be stars. But you thought that the quarterback is there to elevate the status quo of your franchise, of your team, year in and year out. When Drew Brees was there, you always knew New Orleans had a shot. They only went to one. They only won that one Super Bowl when they beat up Peyton Manning and company with the Colts. But Drew Brees, what, second all time in passing yards? I want to say second all time, only behind Tom Brady. But yeah, when it happened, I was like, I know Smitty is. And Smitty, here's the thing, right? Let's just call it what it really is. If Derek Carr was a starter, I still be saying what I'll be saying about Carolina. I still think they're the front runners from what they got and what they added. And that's taking nothing away from what Tampa Bay, to me, has the best culture in the NFC South. I think the best team is Carolina. I think the up-and-comers are my Falcons, and then you got the old Saints. I mean, that's even if they had Derek Carr. So while Derek Carr being there definitely makes them, a contender, I guess, he hasn't really done anything since he's been there. So, like I said, it's not like we piling on Derek Carr. It was just, it made news because of who it was, but it was like, all right, let's move on. Let's move on to, because like I said, Carolina, I do not like giving the Panthers all this love, but the truth is the truth. Carolina is coming. Bryce Young is healthy. Bryce Young is confident. And Bryce Young is ready. He like, all right, y'all gonna give me Ted? And y'all gonna give me Hunter? And y'all gonna give me Horn? What? That's how. Hold on. Did y'all get Musa Muhammad kid as a free agent or something like that?
Yes, we did.
Man.
Yes, we did. All right. Well, let's keep going here on First Things First. Let's keep it going. The other big topic besides Derek Carr, before we kind of get to the headlines, I'm sorry, transactions. The other big headline was Bengals defensive end Trey Henderson, sack leader the last few years. I'm just going to read kind of what he said earlier today, and then I'm going to give you something from a former defensive end who kind of knows a thing about the NFL and played in a city named Houston and then also Arizona. That would be one J.J. Watt. I'll tell you what he had to say as well. Trey Henderson said Bengals have cut off contract talks amid a dispute regarding a new deal. So no communication has taken place between my camp and the organization following the NFL draft in April. He uses the words, rather than collaboration to get us to a point to bring me home to the team, they are no longer communicating. I've been eagerly awaiting a resolution to the situation, but that's hard to do when there's no discussion and an evidence of lack of interest in reaching mutual goals. Now, J.J. Watt, former defensive end for the Arizona Cardinals, Houston Texans, had this to say about the Trey Hendrickson situation, specifically regarding this. As I tried to bring this up, and he might have deleted it, so I'm not sure if I can find it anymore because I did have it at one time. But he essentially said something like, I know, let me try to think how this might go. And he said, team, we like you, but let's get this done. Maybe next offseason we'll kind of prioritize you. Player has a really good season. Team gives you a low ball, offer / not one.
Here it is.
Oh, you found it. Okay.
Want me to read what he said?
Yeah, go ahead.
He said, I assume it went something like this. Watch, tweeted. Last offseason, we don't want to do a deal now, but we'll make right next offseason and get it done early. Player has great season this offseason, low ball offer and/or crickets. Pay a fair price early on, pay top dollar later. Teams want to treat it like a business, but don't like it when players do the same. The next excuse these teams can no longer use age. Is it Von Noah tweeted in a reply to what? So basically, I think that's a great point.
As a former player, what do you think of this?
I think JJ is dead on. The team gets to treat it as a business. They don't like it when players do that. Like, I think that's a great point because, yes, Trey Hendrickson is 30 years old. He's going to be 31 years old. Back-to-back 17 and a half sacks. 35 sacks in 2 years, that's a career for a lot of people. But JJ said, no, this is what they did. 17 and a half sacks, we think it's an outlier type year. So let's, do what we normally do. Give you like a franchise tag, give you some money to reward you for last season. And let's see what this season does. 17 and a half sacks again. Mm-hmm. Hey, dude, we in dangerous territory. All right, why? Because I'm going to keep saying this. The only position that it does not matter what you've done or not done, it's about breaking the bank. It's the quarterback position. Whoever is next up is going to get a bigger contract, because Brock Purdy is going to reshape the market when he gets his deal. And guess what? He's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to 2 NFC Championship games. He's never won on Super Bowls. He's never been on first-team All-Pros. He's going to break the bank. This is what I think the Bengals are really saying. And I'm going to keep saying this, Smitty. You got 35 sacks the last 2 years, 17 and a half sacks led the league 2 years in a row. We don't think you're that good. Because think about this, Smitty. Think about this. When Myles Garrett was breaking news when he wanted to trade. I want to get traded to a contender. And guess what? The Browns made us think they was going to trade him because they said he tried to get a meeting with the owner. Owner didn't take the call. Behind the scenes, they said he will be Barry Sanders. He's going to play for us or nobody. He will be Calvin Johnson. He's going to play for us or nobody. And guess what? He got his money. Because at the end of the day, a place like Cincinnati, you got two things. Most things. You got money and memories. And guess what? You want your money. Now, if I'm Trey Hendrickson, this is what I really should be concerned about. They let him hit the free market. No. They was out there trying to shop him. But what they wanted in return for him, I don't know, dude. Because other teams is like, yeah. Because here's the thing, Smitty, and he's back-to-back first-team All-Pro Trey Hendrickson. I'm just telling you. Does he scare you like Joey Bosa? No. Does he scare you like Myles Garrett? No.
Definitely. That's a definitely no.
You know what I'm saying? It's like when I think about the top pass rushers, I know Trey Hendrickson is one of them, but it's not because he strikes fear in anybody. And I think that's the thing is when I mention certain I'm gonna keep it all the way funky though. Let's just do this. Do the average person even know who Trey Hendrickson is? No. And I'm talking about NFL fans. That's the problem. Because, yes, in the National Football League, most players will not be known without their helmet off. And, most players. That's not the quarterbacks. Like, we're going to know who Lamar is, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. I get it. If Devonta Smith was walking around a place not named Philly, would people know him? No. So Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks 2 years in a row. You know what the league is really doing right now that people ain't saying? They're trying to make what he's done irrelevant. And they don't want to start doing that. Because if Derek, what's y'all D-tackle name? I can't think of his name.
Derek Brown.
If Derek Brown had 17 and a half sacks in back-to-back years, What you think he's about to get from Carolina? He's about to.
He's already got it, but he can get more. Yes.
That's what I'm saying, though, Smitty. It's like sometimes as a player, you peaked, but you wrong player, wrong team. And that's what JJ won't come out and say, like, hey man, when JJ Watt was on his grind, not one, not two, 3 defensive player of the year. I think JJ and TJ are the only brothers to ever win, defensive players of the year, right? Let me tell you who had a better. You don't believe me? 2 years ago, when Myles Garrett won Defensive Player of the Year, you know who had a better year than him? Josh Allen for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He had 7.5 sacks. I'm telling you, if it's now he got his money now. He got his money from Jacksonville. I ain't saying that, but I think for Trey Hendrickson, 35 sacks in 2 years, that's quarterback time. That's quarterback type money. So yeah. I don't know what's going on outside of. I think the Bengals really, really wanted Trey Hendrickson to tread softly. Don't make us look bad because you see what we just did, for T. Higgs. See what we just did for Jamar, right? But guess what? But let's just call the levels. Joe Burrow, top 5 quarterback, right? No doubt, top 5 quarterback, right? Smitty, you think Joe Burrow top 5 quarterback?
Absolutely.
Do you think that Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the league right now?
Top 2.
Top two. Depending on who you ask. T. Higgins is a solid number 2 when he got solid number 2.
Solid number 2. Trey
Hendrickson. Yeah. Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
You see, and I think that's it's hard to say that with his production, but I don't know, man. It's just I hate to say. Let me say this. I'm always on the side of the player. Now I'm not looking at it from the Bengals standpoint, but what I am saying. Smitty, if you're in the league and you win 17.5 2 years in a row, you telling mama, you telling your wife, look, where you want to live? Because you're about to get. Okay, I'm gonna give you 2 names at defensive end, and you tell me if Trey Hendrickson is in that round.
Okay,
Nick Bosa.
No.
Max Crosby.
No.
And he got more sacks than both of them. You see what I'm saying? So you see how Max Crosby just got his money?
Yeah.
And broke the freaking and you know what? Trey Hendrickson, oh my God, that was like, dude, you
okay. A point is made. I think the listeners got it. Let's continue on. But yeah, I though if I'm Trey Hendrickson, I would be upset too. Let's be honest. I would.
He's supposed to be mad, but and you thought he had more leverage than he had. Maybe he don't. I don't know.
Maybe not. All right. The other big news, and I'm going to call this a headline because this is a good player in the league, and he is now out for the year. The Cleveland Browns lose Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah on the PUP list, out for the season with a neck injury. 25 years old, missed the final 9 games of 2024 because of that neck injury sustained in a collision with Derrick Henry of the Baltimore Ravens. But he is out now for the 2025 NFL season. 2nd round pick out of Notre Dame back in 2021 after having his first Pro Bowl in 2023 with 101 tackles.
Yeah, you feel bad for him because you know he was going to be one of those staples for that Cleveland defense. And once again, you talk about a Cleveland Brown defense that, Denzel Ward, Delpit out there at safety from LSU.
Obviously, Myles Garrett, which we know.
Myles Garrett, and the thing is, so you got him on all 3 levels, and then you talk about, you talk about Jeremiah. You feel bad for him, but unfortunately, Smitty, Jeremiah serves to know this. Now, until the season starts, it's going to be somebody, whether it's a rookie or a vet, going to be out for the year till the season starts. And it's just this is when knees, ankles, ACL, MCL, PCL. They start going out. Why? Well, man, I'm gonna say what the doctor told me. But the truth, you know why people really love football? Why? Because y'all are big human beings. Y'all not supposed to be able to do the stuff y'all do. Not consistently. Moving that big, that fast, that strong, starting and stopping. A knee can only take so many starts and stops. An ankle can only take, and you just hope that they say you just hope by the time it's ready to blow up, it's the off season. Now you see what I'm saying? But Jeremiah, man, get better. Like Floyd Reese, the general manager, who drafted me back in 2004. May he rest in paradise. He said, Ben, it's not a matter of if. He said the best players know this. Good players, bad players, all have to deal with the injury bug. The best receiver, arguably one of the best players in Air Carolina Panthers history, Steve Smith Sr., led the league in catches, yards, and touchdowns a year after tearing his ACL. He came back and went crazy. And obviously the rest is history with the rest of his career. But yeah, Jeremiah, man, get better. But like I said, that training room, I mean, we have a saying in the NFL, can't make the club in the tub. You just can't. And you got to find a way to get better. But now you just focus on once they say you out for the year, it's all rehab, man. You just focusing on getting better. And usually you be ready to go before the season ends. But yeah, man, 17 games, which should be 18 games anytime now. They're gonna be going 18 at a time now. And they got two bye weeks now, I think, in the NFL. I think they give you 2. I could be wrong. But Jeremiah, man, get better, man. I feel bad.
That's what they want with the 18th game is to yeah. They don't have it currently now, but that's what the players would want.
Yeah, I think they said when they go to 18 games, they're gonna make
the 2. That's what they're gonna make.
I think the roster goes from 53 to like 55. And I think the practice squad goes up like a couple of players too. I could be wrong. I got to check.
The practice squad has already gone up a few players, if I'm not mistaken, already. And I think
I think if it goes 18, I think it's going to go up again. Which
what I mean.
Which for one is great for practice squad players, and 2 great for and I think the active roster go from like 53 to 55 or something like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's transition into the rest of these transactions, and then we'll get into the schedule release, which I know everybody just is waiting for here on Wednesday night, May 14th, coming up later this week. Asante Samuel Jr. Biding time after visiting the New Orleans Saints, had neck surgery back in April, formerly of the Los Angeles Chargers, still waiting for a new team.
That is his injury is why people are hesitant, because Asante Samuel is a specialist. I mean, Asante Samuel Jr. He's not, as far as like a ball hawk like his dad, he's that. A run stopper, he is not.
Right.
Making plays in the run game, he is not. And I think the thing about Asante is what hurt Asante Samuel, and I'm going to keep saying this, is when the Chargers go down to Jacksonville for the playoff game and Trevor Lawrence has the worst game you can have, throwing 5 picks. And they came back and won. And how did they seal the win? That would be Travis Etienne running right at Asante, who could make the play right there. Game over. So, I mean, Asante Samuel, I mean, if you can't use him, if you can't, and once again, always know this about a player. A player as productive as Asante Samuel Jr., the Chargers, who has a new head coach now, decided to move on from him. They said, look, man, we like what he does, but we think he's replaceable. So it's surprising that nobody's picked him up, but I think that whoever picks him up because of the injury history, it's probably going to be a 1-year prove-it deal, because they don't want to give long-term money on a guy who's coming off an injury like
that. Let's go to the Baltimore Ravens. After making news last week with the release of longtime kicker Justin Tucker, they added Tyler Loop in the 6th round of the NFL draft, a kicker out of Arizona. And then today they signed undrafted kicker from Wyoming, John Hoyland, after a tryout last week, who will then now battle Tyler Loop to be Baltimore's kicker this season. Normally this is not news, but given the fact that Justin Tucker is now no longer a Baltimore Raven, this is huge news for the Baltimore Ravens.
They don't want Tyler Loop to think that he got it all sealed up, even though he kind of is, because they drafted him. But the Justin Tucker situation was an eye-opener for a lot of people, Smitty, for this reason. A player of his caliber, usually when it's allegations, the team will ride it out with you. But I think that the Ravens specifically done their own individual investigation and was like, we can't. And obviously they kind of put the writing on the wall when they drafted this kicker. But let me say this. I do not know the specifics of the Justin Tucker situation. But let me tell you how you don't help people, right? Let me tell you how you can't help people. Justin Tucker, you know what Justin Tucker also is? He sings opera. He sings it in the offseason, and all the money he raised goes to, like, the Catholic Church. I think that's great. That does not help his – that has nothing to do – like when people say he also sings opera. And, like, great. Like, he's talented. He's also unemployed right now because I give the NFL this much credit because I give him a lot of flack. Caring about what happens to women is not something that the NFL is really known for, right? I give them a lot of credit because Smitty, like I said, as a person that was in the National Football League and understand it and think that the kind of things that when players mess up, they mess up. Putting hands on women to do, I ain't with that. And sometimes people say, Ben, you think it ought to be taken away? Yes. And I know that sounds harsh, but guess what? If I'm a big time athlete and I'm putting my hands on women and I get fined, no, you get fined for a hit, or you get fined for taking PEDs, or you know what I'm saying? Putting your hands on women, that's a life thing, man. So I applaud the Ravens because they did this to me begrudgingly. They're like, man, we gotta let them go. Why? Because Harbaugh has built up an incredible reputation and culture with the Ravens. You don't think one player can kill it all? Oh, it can. But I'm gonna tell you why they really did it. Ray Rice. We saw what Ray Rice did, and they said, "Hey, dude, we can't say it's because we saw it, because people think we only got rid of him because we saw it, which they probably did." But I applaud the Ravens, man, because somebody got to be the beacon for the other 31 teams. If it's gonna be the Ravens, so be it. And like I say, Justin Tucker, listen, man, you whatever, deal with your stuff. Praying for you, we'll see. But I applaud the Ravens for doing it. But that rookie kicker, number one, he already knew he got big shoes to fill when they let go of Jay. He like, they let go of Justin Tucker. Yeah. What? But having a kid from Wyoming coming as an undrafted free agent, look, I mean, competition is good for any player. So we'll see what happens in the preseason.
Chris Berman, former just an all-lifer at ESPN, staying there through 2029. That is on the NFL transactions page today. How about Boomer getting to celebrate his 50th anniversary at ESPN through this contract extension?
There are certain people. Lee Corso, he's retiring this year from college game day, which is gonna be weird not seeing him out there. He made the putting on the mascot head. Famous, super duper famous. Chris Berman is like John Madden. He makes highlights worth listening to because he's animated. It's not whoop, and they know the Raiders and nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo. It's like, now I do think Stuart Scott. Chris Berman might have pioneered the Stuart Scott kind of. Stuart Scott was like the Michael Jackson of it. He like Chris Berman invented the moonwalk, and a guy like Stuart Scott perfected it. But I mean, think about those, Smitty. Is there anybody out there better than him? And I respect everybody that does it. I love this. I love Gus Johnson, Mr. Can't wait to yell at every single thing he sees. But Chris Berman, it's almost like you're gonna hate to see him because he has left and they won't let him leave. It's like they go, hey, yo, Chris. Like, think about it. He's left. They go, hey, yo, Chris. Yeah, what's up? Listen, man, I know you're tired of us calling you. Whenever you ready. All right. He's the man. So, hey, man, shout out to Chris.
And then some sad news for anyone who might have been following the Kansas City Chiefs super fan, Xavier Boubadir, a.k.a. Chiefsaholic, was sentenced to 32 years in prison after in an Oklahoma courtroom after a robbery in Oklahoma a few years back. I don't know if you've followed this at all. Do you know what I'm talking about at all? No.
I do. It's unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, I'm gonna be brief with it. It's unfortunate for everybody involved, but you just ask yourself sometimes how, because super fans have become super famous over the years, especially if you're known to be the fan of the team with all these. But
right,
yeah, it's unfortunate, man. But hey, man, nobody's above the law.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into the schedule release with the time we have remaining. As I'm going to start with week number 1, and we'll get into some predictions as we go forward, because there are going to be some games announced tomorrow as well, leading up to Wednesday's schedule release. But so far, we have got the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles, the opening game Thursday, September 4th to kick off the NFL season. And then Friday, September 5th, the next day, down in Brazil, we have Chiefs at the Chargers. Those are the first two games. Well, I say at the Chargers, really at Brazil. Those are the first two games in the NFL season that are officially announced. There's a few more, which I'll go ahead and announce in a little bit, but reaction to those two games specifically that have been leaked. Those were literally the first two games of the season.
Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. They said, let's get it on right now. Let's get it on. Pickett. Huh? Dak? CeeDee Lamb? Michael Parsons? They go Saquon. They go Jalen Hurts. They go A.J. Brown. They go Jalen Carter. They go Jordan Davis. You know what I'm saying? They go Cooper DeJean. What? You know what's the weird thing about this game? If I'm being honest.
Say it.
The head coach of the Dallas Cowboys gonna look so weird. Like, what? How did he get hired? Like this? I mean, it wasn't on nobody list. Like you just
Marty Schottenheimer's son, former head
Brian
coach.
Schottenheimer. Now I will say this.
Rest in peace, Marty.
Now I will say this. I can kind of root for Brian Schottenheimer, not because he's a Dallas Cowboy, because he was a Florida Gator back in the day. He was.
Yes, he was.
But I like this. I like when you got division rivals. First game, let's do it. Now, I think the Eagles gonna wax Dallas. That's just me. That's just me. But the most intriguing one is number 2. Because let me tell you something about Kansas City. The Philadelphia Eagles just exposed a real bad flaw. They can't block for old Patty Mahomes. I know he done cut off the mohawk. He look like he dyed his hair a little bit, trying to show a little bit more, maturity. I don't know. Justin Herbert, you got your brand new running back, man, out of North Carolina. Nice brand new toy. Matter of fact, wait a minute. What's his name? God, the receiver out of Clemson that they drafted him there in the first round. Then he went over to the Jets. Then he came back. Oh, I can't think. Is it Mike Williams? No.
Mike Williams. That's right.
He's back. So Mike Williams is back.
He's back. Yes,
Allen, Mike Williams is back. I think this is a good matchup. I really, really do. I think the thing about Justin Herbert is Justin Herbert, and I mean this respectfully, has a lot of Derek Carr in him. Got a lot of toys. New head coach, new running back, old receiver come back, right? Got a defense. Now, no Joey Bosa now. He's moved on. No more Joey Bosa, right? And I know that Khalil Mack restructured, so he's back with the Chargers. Still got Derwin James. I love the matchup of Derwin James and Travis Kelce. It is one of the best matchups in football. They just go at it. It's a chance for Harbaugh to make a statement saying, "Hey, man, if the AFC West is going to be won, guess who we got to beat to do it? It runs through Kansas City." So I like the second matchup. I think the first matchup is going to be a blowout, but I think that's two good back-to-back. And listen, the NFL ain't playing, boy. We in the state's first game. We in a national.
And by the way,
it might be a Vin Diesel. If another Fast and the Furious movie coming out, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. I'm just telling you.
It is. The last one is coming out. Last one.
At least that's what they're telling us, right?
Yeah, exactly. I gotta correct you, co-host. I know you didn't mean it. I gotta correct you though. Joey Bosa is a Bill now.
That's what I said. I said Joey Bosa is no longer with the Chargers. I was saying he's no longer there.
Oh, you said. Oh, I heard restructure. Maybe that's what I was.
No. I said Khalil Mack restructured his deal.
Oh God, thank you. Okay, I did not hear that. Thank you. Okay, cool. All right. My apologies on that one. Let's go to Week 16 on Fox. Packers at Bears, Eagles at Commanders. Those are going to be two games in Week 16 way down the line. So we don't know how they're going to, be at this point. But it's just nice to see games on the schedule at this point. Packers at Bears, Eagles at Commanders in Week 16. And then the other one is the Amazon Prime game on Thanksgiving, Black Friday. It's the day after Thanksgiving. We have the Chicago Bears at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Listen. I mean, basically, if you want to be on prime time, you got to play the Eagles this year. Chicago, Caleb Williams, we're going to learn a lot about you, young man. New head coach, some new offensive line, some new weapons. We're going to see if you got a new mindset. When you start talking about, what did you say, the Packers at the Bears? Did you say the Packers at the Bears? Jordan Love versus Caleb Williams. I think once again.
Yes, Packers at Bears, and then Eagles Commanders.
Jordan Love got a big deal. He got that big contract after that big year a couple of years ago. Did a battle the injury bug, going up against former number 1 overall pick. Year 2 for Caleb Williams. We're gonna see how much Ben Johnson can really help him. The sophomore sensation, we hope, Jaden Daniels, staring at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, ladies and gentlemen, if you had not figured out, he's the Joker of the National Football League. He says, here we go. You know why? Because when Batman Begins first came back out. No, the first time it was him in the League of Shadows and all that stuff. Then when he came back with the Joker, listen, I know I'm not. Everybody came to see Batman. You was like, I like this Joker character. My goodness. Like, he's the first time you really started rooting for the bad guy. I am not saying Jalen Hurts is a bad guy. He plays the bad guy role. Plays for Philly. People don't like Philly. People don't like him. He's not the media darling. Because let me tell you what the NFL won't say, but they won't. They wanted to be Josh Allen. They wanted to be Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson because they already won MVPs. Jalen goes, I'm just telling y'all, you don't got to like it. So Jalen Hurts will play the spoiler every week because now he got the target on his back because now he got Super Bowl champ, defending Super Bowl champs. But you know what he really want? He want to go back to back. Just telling y'all, he got the team to do
that would definitely help Jalen Hurts' legacy for sure. And then just announced for the 3rd straight year, the Kansas City Chiefs will be playing on Christmas night. They will be playing, on Christmas, but this is the 2nd straight year on Christmas night. They played the Vegas Raiders back in 2023. That was an afternoon game in which they lost shockingly in that one to a lot of people's minds. And then last year they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe, on Christmas night last year. That was not much of a game, if I remember correctly. And then this year, you could argue the 2nd best team in that division in some people's minds, the Denver Broncos.
Whoa, Bo Nix. Get to show everybody, look, man, I know everybody thought me and Sean Payton wasn't going to work based off what didn't work with Sean Payton and Russell, last name Wilson. But it did work. Like, we talked about Jaden Daniels as we should. We talked about all these other rookies. Bo Nix was good. Real good as a rookie. He was really, 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 really good. And I just think that I want to see, can he continue to mature? Can he continue to go out there? And, listen, he added some guys on defense, man. We'll see how that offense look, this year with Denver. But yeah, Kansas City is still big time, people. I know they lost the Super Bowl. They still box office. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, they still box office. So don't just, look at the Kansas City Chiefs as castaways. They still got Andy Reid, Big Red. So, all right, looking forward to the game.
And then I think I'm going to say this because it's probably based on what I'm finding here. It's looking correct. But so we have the Brazil games, which are confirmed.
Kansas City and the Chargers.
Yes. And then the other NFL international games for 2025 based on leaks. Should I say it? Based on okay. Based on leaks, this is what we got here from the international games, and if they end up being wrong, then we can course correct. In London, Vikings, Browns. So take these as these are rumors.
So Shadir Sanders versus. I'm just saying. Just playing. I'm not breaking over.
Versus probably JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
Browns, Jets in London. Broncos, Jets in London.
So Justin Fields versus Bo Nix. Okay.
Rams, Jaguars in London.
We got to see that. We got to see Trevor Lawrence overseas. I was about to say, I was waiting on you to say the
Yeah.
Jaguars because Mr. Khan, he wanted to be the London Jaguars for real. He wanted to have an international team over there. Not going to happen, but that's what he was like.
Those are the 3 London games. And then Berlin, which the Panthers were in last year, if you remember. It is going to be the Colts, Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones. The rumor is your Falcons.
Whoa. Michael Penix. Let me say this. Let me go ahead. Let me break some news that it ain't going to be.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor.
No, I guarantee this. If I'm wrong, I need to do something else. One of the Atlanta Falcons, the Panthers Falcons game is going to be Monday night. It's either going to be Monday night or Sunday night. I'm just telling y'all because you want to start seeing your future stars.
Or Thursday night. They typically do that.
I don't want it to be Thursday night for this reason. The quality of Thursday night games ain't good. We watch them because of the NFL. Give me Sunday night. They rested up Monday night because it's the only game on TV. You know what I'm saying? Chris Collinsworth and company, or Al Michaels and no. Sunday night is Tony Dungy, Chris Collinsworth's son, and God, I can't think his name right now. The freaking safety from New England all those years, Ronnie Harrison. Yeah. I mean, like I said, Michael Penix. Listen, Michael Penix do not take his wave cap off. The thing I'm gonna say, that's a wave cap. He never takes it off. Can't nobody get him to take it off. It's all good.
So again, these are not confirmed. These are rumors.
No, not confirmed at all. No,
not confirmed at all. And then Commanders, Dolphins in the new location, Madrid, Spain this year.
Hold on. So how many games is that? How many international games? Okay. I like that. I think the thing about the Commanders, shout out to and the Commanders are getting a new stadium. If you haven't seen it, wow, that thing is gonna be crazy. Listen, either it's gonna be Tua or Quinn Ewers. If he gets hurt, Quinn Ewers got drafted.
What about Zach Wilson? Come on, Ben. Are we shooting?
Oh, I'm sorry, Zach. I apologize, Zach. That's my no. Former number 2. Zach Wilson was a number 2 overall freaking pick, but he went to the Jets. I'm wishing that man nothing bad. So I'm sorry, Zach Wilson. Tua, Zach, then Quinn Ewers. So my fault.
All right, so let's get into the schedule release now. Those are all the confirmed or rumored games that I feel comfortable with kind of talking about a little bit. But let's play kind of a prediction for week number 1 for the NFL season. I'm just going to pick week 1 and go from there. We won't do all 6. Obviously, that's too much time, but we're just going to base it off, who's playing who, and we're going to predict it based on where we think it's going to end up at. So for whatever reason, Ben, and again, this is just based off. So we know we know Eagles Dallas is week number 1 for that one.
Nice. And we know the Chargers and the Chiefs.
Well, that's week 2, actually. Or no, you're right. That is week 1. You're right. Okay. All right. So let's just use this scenario here. If I can pull this up here. I don't know if I can predict this. Maybe I can. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Okay. All right. No, I'll do it. We'll do a little bit of it. Okay. I'm going to say my Carolina Panthers open up in San Francisco against Christian McCaffrey and San Francisco 49ers. I think they're going to throw us to the West Coast like they did like 7 years ago, because that's what they do to us. They put the Panthers out in these random games. I would love to open up at home 2 years in a row on the road, but I would love – okay, for those of you on the podcast who are Panther fans who listen to this show, Ben, I'm going to be quite honest with you. I would love nothing more than to get that Christian McCaffrey Carolina Panthers game out of the way week 1. I would love nothing more.
I mean, listen, let me tell you something. Okay, I always go through matchups. Yes, George Kittle got a new contract, right? As he should. I mean, congratulations to him. This is going to come down to me certain things. Ricky Pearsall and how he plays in year 2. Is Brian Ayuk healthy? Can you Can you find a way to neutralize Christian McCaffrey, who hasn't been like after he got hurt, he hasn't been. It's like he's forcing it now. Nick Bosa is a good player. He doesn't scare anybody. You're going to have to not let Fred Warner wreck the game. He will wreck. Did you find a way to neutralize him? Because once again, man, you know what Carolina got? Carolina got two things that people, well, they got three really. Well, they got a running game. They got a number one, right? I think Ted McMillan, he ain't going to be number, but he going to be a legit number one. They got a freaking slot and freaking Hunter. Like people ain't making a big enough deal about that. Hunter Renfrow, I mean, Hunter Renfrow, to me, he's the second best slot guy in the league. The number one is obviously Monte Brown. Like he's first team all pro. Hunter Renfrow can get open. And this is what I like. I give you, what is it, 3 years ago now? Detroit opens up the season against Kansas City. Who won that game? That was Detroit. People like, what? And look at what it did for Detroit's season. All I'm saying is for Carolina, we understand you want to win the division, but you also want to let the rest of the NFC know we can play y'all too. There is nothing better than going to somebody else's house, walk in your trap, and take your trap. I like Carolina in this matchup for this reason. I like Brock Purdy. I don't love him. Brock Purdy is a byproduct of the guys around him. I think the guys in Carolina will be a byproduct of Bryce. And I mean that. Quarterbacks, good, the ones that's really good, they make other guys really, really good. I'm not saying Brock Purdy ain't good. But just like we said with Trey Hendrickson, if we talking about the best quarterbacks in the league, people go, Brock, yeah. I mean, he's earned his money he got to get. But I'm just saying, so, hey, Smitty, I know you're going to give respect to San Francisco, as you should. Did San Francisco make the playoffs last year? Oh, that's right. They didn't.
They did not. So
I'm just saying they could be going. They could be on a downswing. They best years might be behind them. We will see.
So I'm going to recalibrate what I just said. So instead of predicting the whole week one, I'm just going to predict the 4 NFC South teams since we are both.
I like it. Let's do it.
We're going to do that. So I'm going to go next to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to say they will open up at home against the New England Patriots because that's something the league would do. They would just give somebody the Bucs, a New England team who's coming off a little streaky.
Yeah, but Mike Vrabel ain't started with that nonsense now. Mike Vrabel like, look, we ain't finna be no lay down type players, but you know,
I could see them doing something like that.
Wait. Who did New England play week 1 last year? And they beat them.
Buffalo.
Listen to me. Listen.
Because there will be some division matchups in there. I'm just predicting for the sake of this exercise that the NFC.
But that's the Atlanta Falcons in me. I just want Tampa to lose. I need somebody to lose.
Yeah. New Orleans Saints will. I'm gonna say they're gonna open up against the New York Giants on the at home. I'm gonna say that.
That's going to be a pick'em game. Good God. That's going to probably be Russell Wilson, probably versus a rookie.
Yeah.
Depending on what happens.
I'm just going to say that. The NFL is just going to screw.
That's the who cares game. That's the new faces and new places type game. So we'll see.
Yep. And then that means the Falcons, to balance the scales here, I have the Bucs and the Saints opening up at home. Panthers on the road in San Francisco, which means I have the Falcons also opening up on the road as well to balance up these scales here. Based on process of elimination, I can't say any of those teams. So I am in the London game. I cannot say. So I think we are going to say, I'm just going to give you the 3 opponents that are left on your schedule based on this scenario: the Jets, the Cardinals, the Vikings.
Let's go ahead and get the Vikings out of the way. Go ahead and get them out of the way early. No one
All right,
knows
there you go. Ben's prediction: Atlanta at Minnesota, week 1.
Let's do it. Let's get 2 dome teams. I'm just going to their house. Just get it out the way, you know. And then essentially, kind of still brand new quarterbacks, even though Penix did get to play a couple of games last year. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way. Let's see what our DBs can do with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, and let's with the real Kyle Pitts. Please stay.
Yes.
He's
Kyle,
already in year 5. Crazy. Already in year 5.
it's crazy, man. Crazy. All right. Let's get into something. It was before I move away from the schedule. Is there anything else that you wanted to, because again, we could predict the Sunday night schedule, we could predict the Thursday night schedule, but it's just better just to wait till it comes out next week. We can just kind of break it all down once.
Oh yeah, the schedule's coming out, Smitty, is once again why the NFL is just America's most loved sport, from the draft to to All-Star games, to the combine, to Ricky Minnick. It's like because we get to see here. Let's be honest. Here comes the fake optimism. People get the schedule, they start going, oh, win, loss. Oh man, we gotta go. You know what I'm saying? 10-7, 11-6. It's probably gonna be more, 8-9 or something like that. But you kind of want to see what you up against, and the schedule release is that. And then what I forgot to say about my Falcons versus Minnesota. Minnesota got an incredible pass rush. Well, Atlanta, they went after their pass rush too. We're gonna see if it's gonna come ready. It's gonna be weird. I ain't gonna lie though, it's gonna be weird watching Atlanta run out there, no Grady Jarrett. It is gonna be weird, but hey man. That man moved on to Chicago. Him and I started something.
Well, a guy named Julio Jones is finally gone after it seems like forever in Atlanta. I know he's been gone for a little bit of time now, but every time he played my Panthers, it just seemed like Julio was behind somebody once again. Even Kuechly, he had a nice viral moss on Kuechly. That guy just was different. Let's end it. I just wanted I'm going to go here. So I saw these two things. I wanted to give you kind of your thoughts on this, and you can just again, for the sake of this exercise, I'm going to I'm going for one of these exercises, I'm going to read just the Panthers Falcons. For the other one, I'm going to do the entire league just to see if you see your jog your memory here. All right. NFL team's biggest weakness, according to Jukes.com, based on what I'm seeing here. Both Panthers and Falcons have the same weakness currently, according to this. Cornerback. Would you agree?
Yes. Even though I like AJ Terrell, love JC Horn, I think the thing about JC and AJ, you got to play big when you need them to play big. Like they both got new contracts. JC Horn was a top 10 pick. AJ Terrell, he's from Atlanta. He go from Clemson. Down there, it's the eye test. It's when you do this, man. Come on, JC, you can't give that up, because great corners, they ain't even gonna try you on the money down. You got to win them money downs. But weakness, yes, but I think by mid-season they will be strengths. They will be strengths.
And for the sake of argument, for the Saints, they have quarterback, very obvious, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker with Levante David being 35 years old and Mr. Ageless Wonder there. And who do they got after that?
For the Saints quarterback, I would also say age. I mean, you talk about Cam Jordan, you talk about Tyrann Mathieu, and while Alvin Kamara ain't the oldest guy, that's a lot of tread on them tires, man. That's a lot with what they asked him to do. And as far as Tampa Bay is sustainability, because the culture got built when Tom Brady was there, and it carried over with Baker. Can they sustain that? Ty Bowles is doing a great job. He has.
Absolutely.
But at a certain point, these youngers got to make these old dudes look old. You got to make Mike Evans look old.
Let me really this before I go to this last debate here. I heard on, I think it was the new ESPN show, not so new anymore, actually, I should say, on Sportsmanlike. Would you agree? They were talking about the NFC South today. Do you think they said if Tampa Bay, they said this is obviously a very easy division, from a standpoint. They were talking about the Saints, particularly, and Shuck and Derek Carr retire. I mean, that was their main topic. But then they said Tampa's won this division, 4 out of the last 5 years. And so they specifically said Carolina and Atlanta. They said, those two teams, if Tampa wins again this year, there could be some head coaching changes, around that division. Do you agree?
No, I don't. And this is why I think here's why I say that's not going to happen. when you start talking about longevity in the National Football League, the first thing you got to have longevity as is your head coach. If you keep on switching them up, okay, well, if I switch up a head coach, that's a new D coordinator, that's a new offense coach, that's a new scheme, that's a new. It's like now, will they feel the pressure? Yeah, they want to, especially Raheem Morris. You started off last year like, oh my God, this Atlanta's the win, and they fell off a cliff. And Carolina showed what a team not going to the playoffs due to a team that has drink. We ain't going. Y'all ain't going to Atlanta.
If Carolina, you just said it in the schedule release about fans making their predictions. If Carolina goes, I believe Carolina won 5 games last year, if I'm not mistaken. If they go 8-9 this year, a lot of fans are going to be upset that they didn't make the playoffs. But
the reason, once again, the draft and the offseason gives you an idea of how we see the team. But if I'm getting offensive guys,
that's progress for the Panthers if they go 8-9 this year. Now, absolutely. And obviously, it would stink on my benefit that if they didn't go, if that misses the playoffs, certainly. Which 8-9 would.
Think about it. Hold on now. Okay, if Coach can think about the last 2 offensive coordinators for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They both head coaches now. Coach Canales, he comes to Carolina. Liam Cohen, he goes to Jacksonville. What do they both have in common? I think I can win with them quarterbacks. Coach Canales said, who they got Bryce Young? Ooh, man, I like Bryce Young. Right? Liam Cohen go, ooh, now, he like Trevor Lawrence. Maybe he knows something I don't. But Lord, we'll see what happens with that. But what Coach Canales did for Bryce last year, he tested him. He tested him mentally. Because when you get tested mentally, it happens nationally. Everybody get to watch it. He never stopped smiling. He didn't change who he was. Because you know how like sometimes the player gets drafted, they come back all serious. Don't be who you are. Who you are got you here. Now it's gonna take more than that to keep you here. But we want you, and like I said, Bryce Young, I hate to say it, man, but the confidence that he shows, he's starting to play like that.
Yeah.
Not loose with the football, but now it goes from he need to play better to Leggett got to make that catch. See, now they putting it on his teammates too. Dude, he got to, because Bryce will make a throw where you go, oh my freaking God. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think the NFC South has been Tampa, I think, and I could be wrong, they're winning off of culture right now. They got a culture with Levante David still there. Like he's been there, about 12, 13 years now, right? They ushering in new players, but you got older players from when they was losing to when they was winning to win a Super Bowl, and it's a carryover. Even Baker Mayfield is, for Carolina and Atlanta specifically, they got to learn how to win, you know what I'm saying, consistently to be the contender every year. Because at one point, the NFC South, it was a revolving door. It was never the same winner each year. It went from it'll go New Orleans, Carolina, Atlanta, Tampa. So now it's, hey man, Tampa had a stranglehold on it. But I think them young guns, man, Bryce Young at the top. Michael Penix don't like the fact that when he went, Michael Penix said, dang, man, maybe I can come in here and look good against Bryce. He said, yeah, you can look good against Bryce. Bryce just going to look better. So I like it, though. I like when the national analysts are putting expectations on teams that got to get used to winning under scrutiny. Because the best teams, they used to the negativity. They used to the criticism, like Kansas City, like Buffalo, like Baltimore. They so used to it. I think for Atlanta and Carolina, they got to get used to saying, hey, man, criticism is good. That means people are watching. That means they don't got to make up what they saying. When people don't watch you, they say, who you play for? Because they don't even watch. Don't listen. We love Cleveland.
That's what we like to call the corner television game. Some people, you know,
that's that. You're in a bar. You're in a wing spot, and they got the big TVs for the real games. And you over there in the corner by the bathroom.
Hey, but diehard's got a diehard, as they say.
I'm just saying, all right. Somebody else, hey man, put on the Browns game for what?
Okay, I'm going to go through this really quickly as I'm just okay. I did not plan this. Ben is not going to know what this is. So for the audience, just bear with me. I had to do this because I saw this today. I thought this was hilarious. For those of you who are NBA fans out there, do you remember when Shaq played for the Boston Celtics? Do you remember that version of Shaq? That's right.
Yeah, unfortunately, they had Kevin.
Yes,
Kevin
that was very end of career Shaq, very old Shaq. That was not
Ray
Lakers.
Allen and them,
Far from the Lakers Shaq.
Not Ray Allen. I don't think Ray Allen was there, but yeah.
This was okay. I saw this and I just had to give this to you, Ben. Let's see how many of these players you remember on these teams, or maybe some of these were before your time. Every NFL team's most Celtics Shaq player. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Here we go. So you pick what I'm putting down here. Okay. I'm just going to blitz these up, and I'm going to go 5 in a row. You tell me, if they got all these right, whatever. All right. Last one's going to be, basically going to be 5 or 6 in a row here. Okay. First 5. Cardinals, Emmitt Smith.
Yep.
Atlanta, Eric Dickerson.
Oh my God. Yes.
Baltimore, Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I played against him.
Buffalo, Terrell Owens.
Yeah.
Carolina, Reggie White.
Carolina, I remember that. Yep. That's good.
Those first 5. All right. Next 5. Chicago Bears, Jared Allen.
Yep. Mr.
Terrell Owens for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, him and Ocho.
Cleveland, Lorenzo White.
Lorenzo White did play for. Oh, keep going, man. Jesus.
Yep. Dallas, Eddie George.
Eddie, that was in 2004. That was my rookie year. Eddie George got traded to the. Yeah, I remember that.
And Ty Law for the Broncos. Never Broncos.
Ty Law did play for the Broncos. I remember Ty Law when he was with New England all them years ago. I did the Broncos. Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
So far, is there anything that is there anybody that you disagree with so far?
I do. I don't disagree. It's just the Eddie George one because when I first got drafted to the Titans, he was there, and I was like, "Why?" We was out there with our uniforms on. He had on regular clothes. I'm like, "Is Eddie George practicing or something?" Like, no. And his locker was across the mine. Then he got shipped to Dallas.
All right, next 5. Detroit Lions, Anquan Bolden.
Oh, whoa! I don't agree with that. Anquan got. Wait. He was with Detroit.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about him playing his first game against Detroit. We got drafted by Arizona. Yeah, I don't remember that. Go ahead. Yep.
Green Bay, Jim McMahon, longtime Bears quarterback.
Oh yeah, Jim. Do you go from the Bears to Green Bay? Come on, Jim. That's when times are bad when you got to go over there. All right.
Yeah. Houston, Ed Reed.
Ed Reed did go to Houston, man. I think he ended up coaching after that or something. Yeah, Ed Reed, you should have called it a career.
And then former Texans receiver going to Indianapolis Colts, Andre Johnson, Hall of Famer.
And Andre Johnson also played for the Titans, man. Why? I love it that he did it, but come on, man. Should have stuck with him.
Torrey Holt, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Listen, it was so bad. When Torrey Holt went to Jacksonville, greatest show on turf. Him, Isaac Bruce, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk. Don't go to Jacksonville.
All right. I know. Some of these I believe. Obviously, I lived through, and some of them I obviously didn't. But like Jim McMahon, obviously, I did not live through that. This next one I also did not live through. Kansas City Chiefs, Warren Moon.
Warren Moon did play for the Kansas City Chiefs. And Warren Moon had an incredible career. But yeah, bad.
Some people might put Joe Montana there. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but Joe Montana was still good. He wasn't.
I know.
I'm just kidding. He wasn't Joe in San Francisco, but he was still.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. Eric Dickerson, Oakland Raiders at the time.
Should have never left Browns, man. Come on, Eric.
Chargers, Johnny Unitas. Rams, Joe Namath.
Oh my God, Joe! Listen. Sometimes just because you want to continue your career, don't leave the Jets, go home, don't go to the Rams.
And then Chris Carter, Miami Dolphins.
Listen, when Chris Carter was in Miami, Chris Carter caught a touchdown. I think he broke the record. He didn't catch a lot of passes in Miami, but I think he broke the record. And his daughter came on the field to try to give him a kiss, and he wouldn't take his helmet off. I'm like, dude, that's weird. But yeah, I do remember him. I mean, it's a lot of them, man. I mean, when you start talking about,
I got 10 more, and we're done. Done. Okay. Last 10. Here we go. 5 and then 5. Donovan McNabb, Minnesota Vikings.
Womp womp. And this after he left Washington. He should have just.
New England Patriots, James Harrison.
I mean, I'm just saying, James. I mean, that's just respect from Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Come on, James. Stop it. Listen, James, I don't mean no harm. I don't want no smoke from you. I'm just saying. Ridiculous.
And I said 10. I'm sorry. I can't read here. 12 more. I'm sorry. This is the last 6 and then 6. Champ Bailey, New Orleans Saints.
I don't even remember Champ in New Orleans, but that's kind of like, go ahead.
That's kind of like who?
That's kind of like when what's his name? Brandon Marshall was with the Saints. Don't nobody remember that.
Yeah.
That's like when that's like when Jerry Rice is with the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos. Go home, man. Go home.
Herschel Walker, New York Giants.
Womp womp. I only remember Herschel Walker in the league for real. But yeah, that's
Steve Atwater, New York Jets. And then
Steve
Philadelphia
Atwater is
Eagles.
known for what he did with the Denver Broncos. Just leave it there, Steve.
And then your boy, Julio Jones, Philadelphia Eagles.
Listen, Julio Jones with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, people are like, if we got Julio Jones, I know we don't. Well, that it's Jones on the back of his jersey. I mean, but yeah. Listen, it's some players like some of these players just really get on my nerves because dude, you just doing it because you can. You don't. I'm gonna give you another one.
Hold on. Last six.
Yeah.
I'll give you last 5 here. Last 5. Okay. And these are all Hall of Famers, and there was one guy on here twice, and I'm gonna get, and you'll know it now on these last 5 because he's on here twice. San Francisco 49ers, Randy Moss.
I mean, Randy went to a Super Bowl.
Seattle Seahawks, Jerry Rice.
I remember that, man. That's at the end of his career too, man.
Tampa Bay, Tim Brown.
Tim Brown got beat up so bad by when Tampa Bay played him with the Raiders that he came over to Tampa. Come on, Tim.
And then Randy Moss again, Tennessee Titans.
And he won on 84 that I wore, but he wasn't Randy at that point.
And then Washington Redskins at the time, Sean Alexander.
Oh my God. Sean Alexander leads the Seattle Seahawks where he had 100 touchdowns. And just
that's the list. That's the list.
Okay. I'm gonna give you some. I know Dwight Freeney with my Atlanta Falcons.
Yes, that's a good one.
You know what I'm saying? I see Ura with my Atlanta Falcons.
Calais Campbell with whatever team he's on right now. I mean
Calais Campbell's with my Falcons too. Dez Bryant with the New Orleans Saints. Why? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, players trying to salvage their careers, I get it, and teams letting them do it. But when Jerry Rice left San Francisco and he goes over to Oakland, which means he didn't have to get another house because San Francisco and Oakland right beside each other. Then he started going to like the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos. Man, go sit down, man. Like
Matt Ryan on Indianapolis.
Oh! Don't get Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz. These are their quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, and Phillip Rivers was all right. You know,
he was
Matt Hasselbeck goes from the Seattle Seahawks to the Colts.
Well, he backed up Andrew Luck, to be fair, but
listen, Vince Young on the Buffalo Bills, Vince Young on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah,
I mean, when Donovan McNabb left Philly, he goes to Washington. Matter of fact, Michael Vick was the reason why he had to go to Washington. Michael Vick on the Jets? Why? Like, I'm just saying, like, you got it. I mean, Brandon Marshall went from being on the Jets to getting cut to going to the Giants. Dude, I don't know. I mean, people want to play as long as they can play, and I get it. I ain't mad at nobody. James Harrison going to the New England Patriots. Wait a minute. James Harrison also went to the Cincinnati Bengals for a year.
That's
so
right.
You go to a rival in the division, then you go to New England. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, James Harrison played in the Super Bowl, I think, against the Eagles when he was in New England. If I'm not mistaken, I will have to check that.
You're right. I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, players are known for one team. I'm just happy the guys like Calvin Johnson. Now, I will say this. You know who's not on this list because he's a true Atlanta Falcon? It's Roddy White. At the end of Roddy White's career, you know who tried to offer contract to New Orleans Aints? And he said, no, I'm retired. There you go, Roddy. That's how you do it. I'm just saying, man. Matt Ryan, why did you go to the Colts when you only had 1 year left? And you take your behind home. Now he's in the booth. And
real quick. Let me. I didn't give this when we were talking about Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals. So let me give you this. So we have the Trey Hendrickson thing with the Bengals, and then It come out today that Shamar Stewart, their first round pick
Yeah.
and second round pick
Yes.
Demetrius Knight were not present due to on-field
yeah.
work. Head coach Zach Taylor says their players were working through their contracts. Well, we now know why it is being noteworthy. Stewart and the Bengals tried to reach an agreement before rookie camp. The two highest in a snag a negotiation over a roster bonus structure and language in the participation agreement. The crux of the issue is the Bengals' offer to Stewart came in at a lower percentage of roster bonuses than last year's 17 overall pick. If the Bengals came in at the same percentage, Stewart would have participated while the rest of the first-round picks finalized their deals. So there's also an injury protection portion of this equation as well. If a team offered a more protected participation agreement, Stewart would be willing to practice while negotiations of his deal were ensued. And as far as Demetrius Knight, so both of those guys were giving in regard to, not just the Trey Hendrickson stuff, but the contract stuff with the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, people have said that, the Bengals were over for years have been cheap, and they, are now having stadium licensing rights to their stadium, Paycor Stadium, which they've never did in the history of Cincinnati until that deal happened a few years ago now. So did you see that earlier today, along with the Trey Hendrickson stuff? Yeah.
Well, I did say that.
What is your thoughts on that as a former? I don't know a lot about that stuff since I didn't play in the league. What's about that?
I respect Shamar Stewart, because here's the thing, right? People say, why do you have an agent? Well, a lot of agents are lawyers. Not all of them are lawyers, but most of them are lawyers, which means they understand contract, they understand language. Think about what Shamar said. If you came in at the same percentage or higher than the previous, you're supposed to get more than the previous year at your pick. You're supposed to get more. Y'all coming in a lower percentage. Then I'm trying to see this injury clause. Then I'm trying to see how y'all doing this roster bonus setup. Look, I am a pro. I want my money, and I want my money structured right. I want my percentages right. Because let me tell you what Shamar Stewart is telling Cincinnati. I'm not coming in and getting nickel and dime. Y'all are holding up this process, not me. Because my agent looked and said, what's up with these percentages? Well, no. Zach Taylor is a good coach, right? He ain't taking less money. Joe Burrow ain't taking less money. Trey Hendrickson just want his money. And Shamar is saying, let me tell you what Shamar is really doing. I'm not going to do this for future draft picks. Because if I do this, they're going to say, well, that's how it's basically it's a rookie salary cap. It's a sliding scale, that's why the contracts are getting done easier, because you can look at what the previous year got. Oh, and I want to make sure I say this. This is the news of the draft for real. Wide receiver Jaden Higgins has made NFL history according to his agent Chris Cabot of Equity Sports. The Houston Texans and Higgins have agreed to a fully guaranteed 4-year, $11.7 million contract. That's how you do it. Because once I see that a second rounder can get a fully guaranteed, you would think people will see this. Hey, man, somebody got to break the barrier. Kirk Cousins broke the barrier for fully guaranteed contracts for quarterbacks. I don't know why the rest of them won't do that. They don't want to do it. Most first rounders are getting fully guaranteed contracts. Jaden Higgins said, "Hey, dude, I'm a second round pick. Ain't like I'm a top 40 pick, top 60-some pick, fully guaranteed. 4 years, $11.7 million. Let's do it. Fully guaranteed. I like it. But Shamar, hold out as long as you need to, because when I was in the league, they said the two teams that's hardest to negotiate with was Arizona Cardinals and the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Bengals are still living up to that creed right. So the guy who's led the league in sacks, your starting defensive end, is not, waiting on his money. And the guy you just drafted ain't in camp. Hey, man, balls in y'all court, Cincinnati. Y'all need to do. Why don't y'all bring them both to camp at the same time? But hey, man, that's why Cincinnati gonna be bottle feeders. It's gonna be Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and no one cares if you ain't the top one. You number two in the division. Mike can make a wild card, and Cincinnati, they're gonna light it up on offense. Can't stop nobody on defense, just like last year.
And then finally, I did not plan on going this long, but Ben, I had to bring this up because he is a former NFL coach. He's in college, maybe right now. Bill Belichick, University of North Carolina, here in the Tar Heel State. Pun was intended there. Report by Pablo Torre of the New York, up in New York, and he says there's a real chance that, absolute real chance, he doesn't make it to Week 1 with North Carolina. And, we all seen the things with Jordan Hudson, the CBS interview, Belichick's new book coming out,
doesn't
and the reason he says that is because he says the reason I say that is because even before Jordan Hudson thing became public, even before it went from messy backstage to now, this is his quote, messy everywhere, the date that matters most is June 1st. That would be the date when Belichick's buyout curiously drops from $10 million to $1 million. So to quote Pablo Torre, the question everyone is asking, are things so dysfunctional behind the scenes when it comes to the power struggle to what they're telling Bill to do? Don't have Jordan around anymore. Stop behaving in the way that you have, basically telling him for the first time that you're an employee and not the boss of this building in the way that he may have been assuming he would be. Then there is the ability for him to get out of it. That's before you even consider the fact that stuff is so crazy when it comes to his family, how his family feels, how the people around the school feel. There's this larger image, this larger so it's anyway. So there's other stuff he says too, but that's the crux of the matter. So I'm assuming you saw that today as well. What are your thoughts on Bill Belichick and June 1st date and the buyout, 10 to 1 million? This is an NFL podcast. Yes, Bill Belichick, former NFL coach, now in college. But I think this is a pretty big topic that I want to make sure we get to before anything were to drop in the next few weeks.
Pablo's letting everybody know that Bill Belichick ain't got no juice in UNC. They tell him, for him to say, look, man, how you doing, Bill Belichick? And it's a big deal. But you ain't done nothing in college. In college, man, you just like a freshman. Yes, you got a pedigree because of you the GOAT. By most when it comes to the National Football League. This ain't the National Football League. And let's call it what it is. You the only coach in coach history that had a girlfriend as young as yours on camera. But, I mean, you doing a freaking you can't even do interviews by yourself. She already in the corner. Like, and look, I'm not getting into his personal life, but you made your personal life public. Which means Bill Belichick, they say, was a lot to deal with in New England, but he was winning. He also had Tom Brady, but he was winning. I'm going to deal with a lot more, Smitty, when you're winning. When you're meeting my bottom line, meaning winning Super Bowls, the brand is elevated, Tom Brady is the face, Tom Brady leaves, and that ship went down. Now Bill Belichick is back at UNC, right? He hasn't done anything in college, and no one knows if what he's going to do in college is going to be effective. But to already be making headlines for the wrong reasons, and then they saying it behind the scenes like he's doing stuff at UNC. Hey, you're not going to have creative control. You're not going to be able to control everything, dude. You are one employee at UNC. Newsflash. This is a basketball school, Bill. North Carolina is a basketball school. Doesn't mean we don't got good football now. We do. But we are trying to stay nationally relevant at this point at UNC. Because right now, we play football, but we're not an ACC, dominant football team. Not like Miami, brand awareness, not like, Florida State, not like Clemson. And that doesn't mean they bottom feeders either. But Torre is just telling people, if my buyout goes from 10 million to 1 million, that means that UNC is doing what a lot of these people in NIL are going to start doing. They got to protect their future. They got to. When Bill Belichick showed up with his girlfriend, they was like, "Oh man, what's up? Is your granddaughter? No, this is my girlfriend." Wait, what? And all I'm saying is, Smitty, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave it alone. Whenever reports come out about a coach, that's what they willing to tell you right now. Because if he gets fired and let go, the rest of it gonna come out after that. They ain't gonna just throw it because he's still an employee. But if he's no longer an employee, I'm gonna say this: if Bill Belichick doesn't make it to week 1, I'm going to say the same thing about him I said about Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer is the worst NFL coach ever in the NFL because he didn't make it a full season. He didn't even make it a full year.
Nope.
If Bill Belichick career is over in college before it begins, he's the worst. Because I'm gonna keep telling y'all, people don't go from college to pro in college. I mean, in coaching, they go from college to. I mean, they don't go from the pros to college in coaching. Nick Saban did it, but he started in college, went to the pros, and came back down. He came back. But Nick Saban had to go to the. Nick Saban also lost out on Drew Brees sweepstakes. For people who don't know, he was in Miami. They went to Miami.
Culpepper.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, Smitty, we got to call it what it is, right? If Bill Belichick wasn't Bill Belichick, this wouldn't even be a story. But he's Bill Belichick, right? But he's Bill Belichick, UNC, and think about it. The antics, and I'm not saying he had antics when he was in New England. I don't know nothing about him. I'm just this stuff that's going on. Let's call it what it is, Smitty. Let's just keep it a buck. Let's just keep it real. If Deion Sanders had a 24-year-old girlfriend, people would be losing it. They would be because he's Deion Sanders. And listen, we're not aging anybody. This isn't ageism. She's a grown woman. She's very young. He can date who he wants. We're not saying that. We're saying it has become a thing. And Smitty, you know, just like I know, if they don't win, they're gonna blame it on stuff that we can only assume. Yeah. What if he did it? So, and if you were UNC Tar Heel, man, people kept saying, why won't these players go to UNC? Some of these quarterbacks ain't want to go because they're like, look, man, what if I'm 24? And man, it's just a lot. Bill Belichick, enjoy your life. I ain't coming at you about that. But if it's making national news, Smitty, and we couldn't tell you nobody on that team right now. Think about that. We don't know nobody on UNC. Not for real.
And as Bill Belichick used to say, they are not on to Cincinnati right now, or in this case, it'd be they are not on to TCU right now. They are. We are not on to TCU right now. That's the first game of Belichick's.
The Horned Frogs.
The Horned Frogs in Chapel Hill, Week 1. They are not on to TCU right now. They're still on.
Don't they play UNC Charlotte?
Second game of the year, yes.
Ooh, at UNC Charlotte?
Yes.
Top plan. Okay.
I'm trying to go to that game. For those in the area who are winning the division fans, who might be in Charlotte, you might see me there.
All right. Okay. That press box is going to be serious, boy, for UNC Charlotte. It's going to be serious.
Absolutely. And then just to wrap it up here, episode 40 of Winning the Division. Just remember, I am Ryan Smith. He is Ben Troupe. Remember, if you were, let's remember here, you are either in the division or you are winning the division. We're going to have more things for you next week as we break down the schedule, Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, Monday Night Football, 2025 schedule coming out this Wednesday, May 14th. We'll break it all down for you on our next edition here of Winning the Division. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And again, leave the comments in the comment section on YouTube. Let us know what you want us to talk about, questions, concerns, anything in between. And again, this is Winning the Division. We will see you guys soon.